All right, so first, I kind of just wanted to talk about the new rules of Major League Baseball. Obviously, there's a lot of mixed opinions out there. Some like the pitch clock, some don't. There's not too much talk about the shift ban, really, but I kind of just wanted to get your thoughts on those specific rule changes.
Well, I think that the pitch clock is something that is necessary. Uh, to me, it got out of hand. Just how long pitchers just contemplate the meaning of life. So we're gonna finally get back to what it used to be, where batters stayed in the batter's box, pitchers got the ball and threw.
Yeah.
I mean, this stepping out and walking around and fidgeting have only been something that's developed in the last 25 years, 30 years.
Yeah. So do you have any thoughts really on the on banning the shift or not really?
And the shift that we should never even got to this. I mean, to me, if you have a batter, especially left-handed batter, that is going to that wants to get on base and just not care about where the ball goes, they hit the ball down the third base line where there's nobody standing. But no, everyone wants to power up. Everyone wants to try to hit a home run. So that's how we got here.
Yep, there should definitely be more base hits and maybe a little less home runs out. There's no shift. Guys don't have to worry about going the other way and stuff like that. But with that being said, do you think any specific Mets pitchers are going to have a problem with this pitch clock? Like, what have you noticed so far watching the spring games?
The Mets don't look good. That's what I've noticed. Um, I don't know who. Dave Robinson sounds like he's having a tough time with the pitch clock. I think uh, Chris Bassett would have had a tough time with the pitch clock. He's in Toronto now, but that's the further people going to mind that is having the most trouble with it.
All right, and how do you think the Mets are going to do overall this season? Obviously, losing Edwin Diaz was a big blow, and everyone knows that. And David Robertson will probably slide into the closer's role. But how do you think they'll do overall? Do they have enough pieces right now, in your opinion, to go out and win it all?
I don't know. They have so many holes. It's the same thing. It really is the same thing. It's the same old story. It's they almost get the job done, and then they leave the holes, and the holes end up being exposed and just kill the team.
What
They never
parts
overcome.
what parts do you think are weaker right now? Is it the bullpen? Do you think the back end of the starting pitching? Is it the offense? What is the biggest issue with the team right now in your opinion?
I think the defense is going to be pretty bad with Darren Ruff getting regular playing time. Brandon Nimmel's hurt now, so that's not going to help the offense. And I think the bullpen's going to be in shambles.
Yeah, it does sound like Darren Ruff will start the season on the injured list, but do you think the Mets are going to stick with him when he returns, or do you think they're going to move on from him?
They got to move on from him.
Because if Brett Beatty makes that roster, I mean, where does he fit? There's no time for him to play.
Yes,
And
there
plus,
is.
there's injuries.
Yes, there is.
Where do you think he would
You can
fit?
pitch it around. You put him at third base. Eduardo Escobar isn't that great of struggles from the left side,
So you think he'll
but
end up playing there a lot at third base?
yeah,
All right. Do you think Brett Beatty does make the roster though, based
I
on
think
what
he
you've
does.
seen?
I think he's had such a good spring. You have to make him.
All right. And I don't know if you've been really watching much since the Diaz injury or if you were watching when it happened, but the World Baseball Classics tonight, obviously USA is taking on Japan. Um, so what are your overall thoughts on it? Do you think it should be moved like people are saying?
Yes,
Um,
it should be moved to November.
yeah, and people have even mentioned on Twitter December because it's only a 2 week tournament. So give the guys a couple of weeks of rest after the World Series and then play it. Do you agree with that?
Play it in the winter. That's what I say. Play it when they're doing the Caribbean leagues, when the Dominican League is going on, the Venezuelan League. They did. There are people playing in these leagues anyway, and a lot of the major leaguers go down there and play at that time. Uh, Occasionally, it used to be that they would do it every other year. Now it's almost like they would do it like every 4 or 5 years or so like that. They'll send an all-star team to Japan, and they would play like 8 games in Japan.
Yeah, because this is only a 2 week tournament, so I definitely think you could move it to the off season. Um, Guys, I mean, yeah, they just went through a whole season, but
I
it's
mean, and then they're saying that nobody will play in November, December.
yeah. See, I
Nobody's
think they would.
playing. Nobody's playing in March.
Yeah,
We don't have the full U.S. team, and we're in the finals.
yeah. For an example, I mean, maybe Aaron Judge participates. He's a big guy in the league that everyone would want to see. Um,
Yes, and all these Dominicans, the Puerto Ricans, the Venezuelan, any of these people,
yeah, and
any of them,
it wasn't as
any
big.
of them, they play that time of year anyway in their home countries.
That's very true. Yeah,
Give them a chance to play for their home country at in November, December, whatever. They will do it. They will not say no.
yeah,
And I think you open the door for more places to play this tournament. You play it. You can maybe do the last 2 rounds, the semifinals and the finals in Japan,
yeah,
and then you got after spring training is supposed to be for slowly ramping up, and the priority is the season. You
hmm
do it in the postseason. Okay, you might have a couple players tired here or there, but then they'll recover afterwards. They'll have 5 months to recover. It makes too much sense not to do it in November.
yeah. And like you said, the teams would be bigger because more guys would probably participate, which
And
means
then and then he
every
had the
guy would
same
be
people
playing.
saying that, well, November you got the NFL, you got NCAA, you got college football. Well, we got the NCAA tournament.
Yep.
I mean, there's going to be something that's in the shadows anyway. I mean, you do it in November. I think, except for I think the only people who would be reluctant to play are people who are free agents.
Yeah, that's very true.
You might not see people who are free agents go, but you play in November, anyone gets hurt, if it's not a bad injury, they have extra months to recover.
Yep.
Like Jose Altuve. I mean, if that happened to him in November, he'd be ready for March.
Exactly. That's a good point. And even like a guy like Freddie Freeman, he went down, I think it was a hamstring injury. Yeah, it's not as bad as the Diaz injury, but still, I mean, that's not what you want, a guy pulling his hamstring a couple weeks before the
Yeah,
season starts.
yeah.
So yeah, I would definitely agree they should probably look into moving it. I don't know if it's very likely that they would do that. But I mean now we do have a few years away until the next one, so maybe they think about it more and more and move it, but they should definitely do that. Now I kind of wanted to ask you this. Obviously, you said the Mets have some weak holes right now, but what does your NL East standings honestly look like this season?
Uh, Braves, Phillies, Marlins, Mets, Nationals.
So how
I
many wins are you giving the Mets?
I think they're going to probably lose 90 games. I just have a really bad feeling about this season.
Wow, that's a interesting take. So how far away are they going to be from the Nationals at the bottom?
10 games.
Wow. If that happens, that's a really bad season, especially with the team they're running out there. Um, so obviously you're not going to put the Mets
And
in
by
the
the way, Carlos Correa is going to play 159 games, leading American League in home runs and batting average. He's going to come close to winning the Triple Crown, and he's going to be a Gold Glover. He's going to make less than 10 errors.
as long as he stays healthy, maybe he'll put up those numbers.
He
But
will stay healthy. And Jacob DeGrom is going to win the Cy Young and have an ERA under 2 and win 20 plus games.
Yeah, but how happy are you with the Justin Verlander acquisition? Were you
I
happy about that?
I still don't know about Justin Verlander.
You
He's the
think
type
his
of
age is
player.
catching up to him?
Yeah, he's the type of player that as soon as the Mets sign him, age will catch up to him. And by the way, comeback player of the year in the National League is going to be Michael Conforto, and Dom Smith is going to have a breakout season with the Nationals. It's all cursed.
It's only spring training, but Conforto has looked good. Looks like he has his power back. So you might be right on that. I haven't really heard much about Dom Smith though. But is there any guy on the Mets who may be a rookie or a guy who may be in AAA right now that you would keep your eye on that could potentially help this team?
Well, we've learned that Francisco Alvarez is a certified bust.
So you think he'll spend most of the year in AAA?
Yes, I mean
Um,
he is a bona fide bust.
so you don't see him getting any DH at bats or
No,
catching a little bit?
no. I think the Mets this year will set a record for players on injured list.
Really?
Yes,
Who do you think's getting injured?
everyone. Every time there's a World Baseball Classic, the Mets get ravaged by injuries, and that's going to happen again this year.
Hopefully not. But yeah, so that's pretty much all I have for you. Appreciate you taking the time.